All right. Welcome all to Hit or Miss. I'm Nightstrike. Thank you, Smeggy, for your musical inclinations.
Oh, no problem. I know everybody loves it.
Yeah, that's not what I'd say, but we keep on doing it because no one's told us to stop yet.
That's what my brain says, is that everybody loves it, so I must be right.
But we may put in a Patreon thing for to get Smeggy to stop singing at the beginning of Hit or Miss.
As long as there's another one that is for Smeggy to keep singing, so then we can let our audience decide and see which one has more people in it.
Oh, dueling banjos, yeah. All right, so let's see who we got here tonight in the panel. Oh, we got a whole bunch of people. Hopefully we got some more people coming. It just depends on who shows up. I sent a couple links out there. All right, so we got Artisan Tony. Hey, Tony, what's going on?
Hey, how's it going? Thanks for inviting me.
No problem. Anytime, Tony. Clovertack, what's going on?
I am well. Thanks for having me.
And then we have G-Webs. What's going on?
Hey, thanks for the invite.
All right. And as always, Smeggy42 is here with us.
Hey, how's everyone doing today?
I'm going to, let everyone know about Smeggy twice, thanking him for the singing and as being a guest on the panel because he's the co-host. So just in case anybody's wondering, because anyways.
Smeggy42, Tuesday nights, 9 o'clock. Smeggy42, Tuesday nights, 9 o'clock. Smeggy42, Tuesday nights, 9 o'clock.
Yeah, right.
Is that how that works?
Yes. Last but not least, we have the one, the only, the man, the myth, the legend.
Oh, my God. I wish.
The greatest teacher in the state of Nebraska.
No, really, you shouldn't.
We have Travis Pula.
Look, man, we're only 5 days in the school year. I haven't made it through the whole year yet. So, hey, guys, what's going on?
School already? Holy
crap.
We
started last Wednesday with kids. I was working 2 weeks ago helping new teachers with tech training, so enough of my problems. Yeah, guys, hey, check me out over on gunchannels.com. It's Ordinary Average Guy Gun Channel and Caliber Corner. We do a live show on Saturdays at 8 a.m. Central Time. Check out my channel, Travis P11 on YouTube. And also, you can now check my channel out over on VidMe and just type in Travis P11 and you can find me. So thanks for inviting me, man. I appreciate it. It's going to be an interesting night.
Yeah, absolutely. We support the teachers here.
Thank you.
So, anyways, who we got out there on the YouTube side, so we can give a shout out to them real quick. We got Mel Smith out there. We've got Colt 97Z's out there. Grim 90 is there as usual. So Grim is also on Gun Channels, I believe. Yeah, he's out there on the Gun Channel side.
That's the way to do it.
That is the way to do it. But who else we got out there? We got AC97, Hobby Master D. We got Travis Tulminian. I don't know how to pronounce that, so if I ruined that, I'm sorry. We got Home of the Brave out there. Who else we got? That's it. That is it.
Say Colt?
I always say Colt.
Oh, okay. I wasn't really paying attention.
Steadley got in there at the last minute. There you go, Steadley. You're the last one I'm going to call out tonight. So
everyone else sucks.
No,
we're not going to call you out.
Everyone else does not suck. Everyone else is great. Let's see who we have on the Gun Channel side before we get started. We got Dusty One out there. We got Ohio 45 ACP. Like that caliber.
Does this make you feel like school, Travis, that we're calling roll call? I didn't know we were doing this.
We got Grandman. We got Raphael out there.
Yeah, man. I got a checklist right here. I'm marking everybody off. So
Clovertack is pulling triple duty. He's in the chat. He's on Gun Channels and he's on YouTube.
Well, I am too. You didn't freaking give me bonus points. Where's my gold star?
You are. I completely missed that. I missed that. So you're right. You're pulling triple duty too. So, all right, there we go. And last but certainly not least, we have the man, the myth, the legend, Senor Cuchillos is out there.
There's a lot of legends going around today.
Yeah, we got, it's rough being around so many big figures, It's rough. All right, so tonight we're going to talk a little bit more about the special edition of Hit or Miss we did the other night. We're going to go over the Adpocalypse because I got an update on some of the stuff that I was looking at, because I looked at trying to get the whole what is it, request the review. I tried that, but here's the crazy thing. Travis wanted me to mention this because he thought it was crazy because I hear a lot of people that have done the that have been hit via the ads have been put on restricted mode. Here's the craziest thing. I have been demonetized, but I have not been set to restricted mode whatsoever. So I don't know what the deal is with that, but I did try and upload a video, and no, I didn't make it public because I was just testing the waters. But apparently, as soon as I uploaded it, that video got flagged too, even though it was private or unlisted. Figure that one out. So I have no idea what's going on with this, but I do not like the fact that they're doing this. They shouldn't have, if they were going to have to do this, if this was going to happen anyways, they should have planned for it, and they shouldn't have implemented this system in the first place.
I've been trying. I work with some pretty big creator groups, and I will tell you that I'm not taking anything away from the bias, okay, on YouTube. Not doing that at all. But I will tell you that this is not something that's just affecting firearm channels, gun channels. There's other channels that this is affecting as well. In particular, some gaming channels and stuff. And yeah, I mean, we're out there racking our brain trying to figure out what the heck is going on. It makes no sense. I haven't been affected at all, which is crazy. I don't understand how I've been able to dodge it. And so that's why I've been trying to figure out what the heck is going on.
Don't worry, they're coming for you.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah. But I also went and checked to see if I could request.
Clover, do you got wood there somewhere?
Have I got what?
Have you got something wood? Because I'd be knocking on that wood right now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hey, I'm not delusional. I mean, I know it could come in any minute, but I've always diversified my channel and everything. So, if they do it, so be it.
Just do what I do. I did Clover Tack on my last video. I named it "You Can Be White and Have a Sense of Nationalism and Not Get a Racist." And so the titles mean a lot. That'll get you demonetized in the first 30 seconds.
Yeah, that's something that I was wondering. I think we've had this discussion a little bit before, but is that something that the titles and or description of the video is sending a flag before the videos even really get out there?
Oh, yeah.
No, it's not even the titles. I can tell you that right now because I went and tested it. I uploaded a video. That was the first upload. I thought it might have been the naming of the video because I titled it "Unreleased Footage of Night Strike's Bump Fire Session." That's why I named it. Okay, that got flagged. So I named it Fluffy Bunnies with Kittens and uploaded it, and it still got flagged. So it's not the title.
It is the title. There are titles that they flag, that they catch.
So did you just start the show, or did you ever say what your problem is and what the point of this discussion is, or we just slip right into your tirade about I didn't like something?
We're slipping into the tirade because it's hit or miss. Tuesday nights, 9 o'clock.
Well, I'm just glad G didn't get banned.
From the show, exactly, because the First Amendment. So, I guess you're from what I understand, and I don't want to put any words in Night Strike's mouth here or nothing, get striked or nothing, but you're upset because YouTube decided not to pay people for posting videos anymore.
I am upset that they dangled a carrot and allowed me to have the delusion that I would get something out of it, but then take it away, but still put videos on my, but still put ads on my videos, and they're still making money off the content I'm making. That's why I have a problem with. I know they have to make a buck somewhere, and that's fine. But does it have to be on my videos?
Look, can I just jump in for 1 second? What I can't stand is someone lying to me. I mean, if YouTube wants to come out and say we don't like this type of content or that type of content, and we're not going to monetize it, that's fine. I can go with that. I love that. I love people being honest. But when you come out and you demonetize videos under the guise of advertiser friendliness, that's a very subjective area. And I know for a fact that they are censoring political speak that they don't like. If I had an hour, I could prove it to you. And I could show you with my own channel, and with just a few experiments. And also I was telling you off the air how I just got sent the questionnaire, whatever, and half of the questions in their new polling info is basically social engineering. Do you think we're doing enough to, do this or that? It's all social engineering type stuff. So they have become, 1,000% more political. And that's the speech they're censoring, and they're censoring through demonetization. That's exactly what they're doing.
Here's the thing that I'm curious on is because, I mean, I've basically have seen the same thing happen to many different groups. So I think I'm hesitant to say like they're just targeting gun people or whatever, because apparently wrestling videos got hit super hard. I know all of like the conservative type videos got hit hard.
Apparently motorcycle
I didn't say anything about gun
science videos. Like a whole bunch of shit got hit.
I didn't say anything about gun content. I said they're censoring free speech through demonetization. That's the tool they're using. And all you have to do is go look at my channel. All the 3 pages of demonetized videos are all politically based, conservative based videos. They haven't actually demonetized any of my gun videos, just the political stuff. They're not targeting gun channels. They're targeting political speech that doesn't agree with theirs. That's exactly what they're doing. And that's fine. But don't lie. Of course, they're leftists, so they're going to lie. That's in the playbook. But, just tell me, just say, I'm going to send, we don't like this. We just want left wing speak on our, and that's what we're going to pay for. So.
Yeah, I mean, if they were going to do that, they should have come out with a statement telling everybody. They should have sent an email, but it just happened overnight. And it's fine, but when you dangle the carrot and let us eat some of the carrot and then just pull it away and throw the carrot away, that's not cool.
Whatever.
You should at least given us a letter and stated we're dropping ads from your videos. This is the reason why.
Why? What's the difference? What the hell is the difference if they tell you 10 minutes ahead of time? If they tell you 10 weeks ahead of time? If they tell you 10 days ahead of time? Or if they don't tell you?
It's called formality. Maybe you've heard of it.
No, I haven't, because that's not a formality. It's not established protocol throughout the entire world to change your own stuff. And we all sign a terms of service just as you didn't feel like reading the whole thing. Sure, in there it obviously states that they'll change things whenever they want. So let's look at it from this point of view of somebody who's creating a platform. If you're creating a social media platform where you're going to let people host videos, at what point do you get to decide the rules of the place that you're providing, the place that you're paying for, the place that you're creating to exist?
Okay, so let me get this straight. You're saying it's okay for them to come up with the rules. You're saying it's okay for them to change the rules at any given time without informing the users whatsoever, because it's the user's problem, right? That's what you're saying.
I'm saying that you
yes
are
or
not
no?
paying attention to everything. No, because you're yanking me. I didn't say all that. You want to take a bunch of stuff that I did say and then extrapolate it to some extreme, then no, I'm not going to agree with that. But put yourself in the position of the person who created a platform, is what I'm trying to say. At what point do you own your own platform, and are you going to create protocols? There's a terms of service. Are you going to tell me that you read the terms of service and they violated their own terms of service? The thing that we all agree to, the rules that we all agree to when we use the YouTube platform? No, in there somewhere it says that if we are going to change any portion of our service, we're gonna. And we're going to tell you or we're not. And you're going to deal with it. And we say, okay. So they didn't do anything that's without the agreement that we all agreed upon. And I'm pretty sure
the only problem I had with it was the deception. I just don't like I mean, don't you feel a bit raped when they tell you that, oh, we're demonetizing your video based on some poll we took of advertisers? So that's bunk. They are. If they would just say, I'm demonetizing it because we don't like it, I would be happy. I would love that. I don't think Ford is watching my videos and saying, damn, I don't like Artisan Tony's videos, because I get some Ford, some Home Depot, and some of my construction stuff. And I don't think they're watching those videos either. I don't think I think they're lying, and that's the only thing I don't like. I don't like the deception. That's all. You're right. They can do it. They have every right to do it. And to me, it's like a big game, I
think you're adding the feelings to it. I agree with you when they say that it's not advertiser friendly. That's bullshit. That's just a bunch of words to say. But since they're the ones who decide who the advertisers are, that is just another way of them saying, we don't like this content. So we're not going to have advertisers that would appreciate your content. Therefore, we don't have any advertisers that do appreciate your content. Therefore, your content isn't appreciated. So it's really just a way of them saying, we don't appreciate your content. I'm down with it there. But again, we signed a terms of service, and we understand that the platform that's either controlled by the agenda-based owners of the platform, or, and I suggest, probably more likely, just the overall atmosphere or of the platform itself. So in other words, YouTube started out being a bunch of kicked in the balls videos, and then it evolved into a bunch of how-to videos, and that's really where it got its teeth. And then those how-to videos became more elaborate and professional, and then advertisers came along, and then people started figuring out things like watching video games was popular, doing things like reviewing movies and stuff. All these things come from the evolution of the platform. And if somewhere in the evolution of the platform, like, let's take an extreme example. Let's take an extreme example of like hatred or abuse or something. Like, if that wasn't appreciated by anybody on the platform, then they're not going to do anything to condone it, and they're going to do things to remove it, right? So if the platform itself is evolving away from an interest in our realm, then that's fine. But I agree with Tony. I think if they wanted to, they could bring a Brownells or a Midway or a AR 500 Targets or a Keystone Sporting Arms or somebody on board, and they'd be more than happy to advertise on any of our videos. They'd be super happy to advertise. And then there would be none of this bullshit issue that advertisers aren't friendly or our videos aren't advertiser friendly.
I think what the real problem is the factor that they have their own separate division for advertising, just for YouTube in general. And what happened was, I did hear about this. I wasn't sure if it was going to affect us or not, but they did have a lot of advertisers just drop from being partners with YouTube. This happened before, but it happened again not long ago. And I think this is a fallout. And they just don't want to. Tony's half right. They don't want to address the issue by telling anyone anything or by even, saying what's wrong. They just decided to drop a whole portion of videos just because, one, they have an agenda. I believe they have an agenda. And two, they don't care. Their objective is to make money. So obviously, they're going to do whatever the hell they're going to do.
Let me mention one quick thing before I forget, because I'm getting old. I wouldn't even care if YouTube came out and said, look, we're trying to migrate more towards a Netflix style. We want to be like an Amazon Video, Prime Video. We don't want rednecks from Tennessee, we're trying to upgrade, right? I'd have more respect for them if they did that. Just don't try to deceive me. Don't lie to me. I love people who are upfront and honest, and I would be a lot happier with them. I don't even care about the money. I never really made that much money on YouTube. But the point is kind of like, just tell me. Just say, we don't want rednecks from Tennessee doing political videos. We want to upgrade our service, and we want to move towards this, and I'd be happy with that. But don't say, our advertiser, and maybe they were complaining, but they're not watching the bulk of the videos that they're demonetizing.
So, I got a question with that as far as Night Strike. You could probably answer this specifically, because I noticed a thing where there's like a couple different icons now when you go to the monetization, right? So either you got the little green thing, which means, okay, yep, ads will run, you'll get some of the money for it.
Yep.
Or it's yellow, which means, and then you get YouTube Red money. Now, if it's yellow, you still get money from YouTube Red, and you may or may not get ad revenue. Or there's the one where it's got the line through it, like you can't monetize this video. So just kind of specifically with hit or miss, with your channel, did they just all turn yellow, or did they all turn like with the line through it where you can't monetize them at all?
No, they turned, all the hit or misses turned yellow. While some of the controversial good morning gun channels and lobby chats, it's a mixture. Like about half of the videos are green, half of them are all yellow without the strike through.
Okay, so it's still not 100% no ads, and like I said, you still get money from YouTube Red, which that's basically their YouTube's like subscription service type thing. And basically what happens for people out there who don't know, if someone has YouTube Red, they're paying X amount of dollars per month or whatever. I know there's a lot of music and different crap on there. But then if they watch, like depending on how many of them watch your video, you get a certain percentage of their monthly subscription.
It's like a penny.
Well, yeah, but it's every ad's a freaking 1/10 of a 1,000th of a cent or whatever, right? So
wait a minute, you're telling me that Night Strike is swimming in hit or miss red YouTube Red money?
No, I am not saying that, 'cause I'm sure people that watch YouTube Red aren't watching hit or miss.
Yes,
you're bitching about a couple of cents that YouTube takes from. What a great son of a.
Come on now.
Yeah, G-Webs. Yep, you got my secret. You found me out.
I got a question for G, because we've talked about this earlier. With this happening, what are the odds? I'm not going to use gun channels, but I'm going to say gun channels. But sites like gun channels evolving into something that will now be more like a YouTube. Also, is that going to be the wave of the future?
He doesn't want to do that.
Not if I have anything to do with it, because I'm
not saying gun channels. I'm saying, but what sites like that will there be?
I got to through gun. I was in YouTube, interacting with YouTube before there was even such a thing as paid content or being paid by the platform for your content. There was obviously always the potential for someone to have an agreement with a particular store or manufacturer and to have, the content paid for or produced by, some arrangement, and then, nice content be provided on the platform for free. But then I was around and I happened to have enough content up there that I got invited to be a partner when that was a way to be paid by the platform. And then I got to see it evolve over the years from a competitive thing just to become a partner and the little trickle of money to an actual substantial amount of money. And then for our particular corner of YouTube in the gun industry or the gun community, or whatever we want to call ourselves, I was around as a pretty big channel at the time, maybe even the second biggest gun channel at the end of 2012. And Nothing Fancy was bigger than me, but that was about it. And then I got to see the playing field completely change drastically, not just on YouTube, but on all social media, as well as in the gun community. The big players changed from the NRA to much smaller players being a much bigger role in the defense of our gun rights at the end of 2012 and the beginning of, all of 2013. That was also a pretty pivotal time for YouTube and YouTube channels, which, like I say, in the gun community just grew exponentially. They grew a massive amount, and a lot of them did, and that just changed the environment completely. So I got to see, and that was at a time when YouTube was paying well for content, and it didn't care if it was gun related or not, because they were getting paid by the NRA, and there was a lot of money because of all the concern about the potential gun laws, right? So I got to see the change in content and the change in, let's say, the reasons for the channels behind the content, and what results we got, like the what it was before and then what it was after. Now, they accomplished a lot, and I would never change what they accomplished. They defended against Obama's anti-gun push in 2013, so that was definitely successful. But as far as the content, it went from grassroots people doing it themselves to really polished, paid-for television show stuff. So I'm happy that YouTube has changed their stuff in the big picture. I mean, I'd much rather keep getting paid by YouTube. It was great. But in the big picture, just as far as individuals creating content, I think it's a gain to lose this sugar mama. And I don't want it to be replaced by some new sugar mama, because that would, I'm assuming, would just encourage more of the same blah, the same we're selling you stuff constantly. And I'd rather see like a VidMe or something start up where people just figure out that cameras are really cool, and the camera on your phone is really powerful. You can do stuff from slow motion to low light to capturing fast motion to just all kinds of stuff with just your cell phone, with no other anything else. And then with just a few apps, you can edit and adjust and share that information in a massive way compared to just even a couple of years ago. And I really am looking forward to seeing what happens when everybody is contributing to the overall conversation and not having it led by, a Brownells and a Midway and a gun broker who, are just trying to sell us shit.
Yeah, because I just joined VidMe today, and I think Clover has said, hey, some of the guys are trying this out. Night Strike, are you going to go to VidMe and see how that works for you also? Or I mean, what's the next evolution?
Yeah, that's the thing. For all of our subscribers out there that listen, if you haven't already, go to vid.me. That's vid.me, and look Night Strike up. I don't have the one on there. It's just Night Strike.
Do you have to enable a Crackle version or what?
No, you can just sign up. You can just sign up with your email address.
Oh, because you totally have Crackle mode enabled.
I thought you meant like the Crackle channel, the network or whatever. By the way, Ghost, I just started following you on.
What do you mean Crackle?
You're breaking on your microphone.
Thing going on. You got
Let me ask G-Webs a question. You there, G-Webs?
Yes.
I've been on YouTube since 2006, and I've always answered. For some reason, I like taking their surveys, right? Because you kind of get a glimpse into the inside of their. You kind of get into their brain a little bit, because the questions they ask are directly related to their sort of the direction they want to head or their policies or whatever. And as well as I do that since 2005. That they have become more politically based, social engineering based. I mean, just the survey I took today, I was telling the guys before we came on the air, I took a survey just 10 minutes before we came on, and one of the questions was, how do you identify as male or female or transgendered or, other, or there was like 10 different, you know what I mean? So the social engineering aspect is something that has evolved over the past 11 years that I've seen, and it has gone in the sort of opposite direction, from what obviously I'm used to.
How's it now? Is it still crackling?
Yeah, you still sound like crackling.
Yeah. Haven't you seen that too, or is that something you haven't been paying attention to?
Why is it crackling?
I would say that if they led the way and they were like one of the first people to make a big point of like, we had to rechange all of our systems to have more than two options, to make it more than a binary option for sex or gender or whatever they're going to call it, then I would call that socially engineering. But if they're just following everybody else who's been doing it for years, then that's just following. And I don't know if that's social engineering as much as not resisting.
I think they see themselves as a leader in that movement. That's all I'm saying. I really do. I think they think they're the platform for the resistance, So.
All right. Well, then I guess if we cared about the platform at all, then we could use that to our advantage by saying that gun owners have a right also. I mean, you can either abandon a platform because it no longer appeals to you, or if you have any interest in seeing it
Okay, can you hear me now?
Always.
Yeah, man,
much
you're good.
better.
I know. I just think it's, for me, it's just data points, because when I hear somebody make an argument and they don't at least acknowledge the motivation, then I have to question their motivation. You know what I mean?
All right.
When
All
somebody
right.
said,
So what I was talking about is, yes, I'm signed up on vid.me. If any of my subscribers want to, they can go ahead and subscribe to us on vid.me. Other than that, I'm gonna just upload hit or miss videos to that one, see where it goes, test the waters. Other than, I may do some actual other videos as well, but we'll see what happens. And I'm probably going to have to buy a new microphone because this one's probably busted.
We can definitely overtalk people with it.
You just jiggle your dongle some more.
I thought he didn't want to hear my point there.
Oh no, I'm sorry, Tony. I wanted to finish that so you can finish yours. All right. Go for it.
I wanted to interrupt you to tell you can go ahead.
I think you successfully made me lose my train of thought. But I know most people don't think of these things the way I do. I think it's interesting. I think it's really like a study of human psychology almost. And to see the way YouTube has changed since I've been on there since 2006, And they were asking me.
Though I mean, I don't understand.
What's that?
I guess sitting back and watching something happen. Okay, great. And then you want to be active and it's not changing, I guess. Then I could see some frustration if it keeps changing in spite of your efforts to keep it from changing. But do we gain anything if a platform doesn't change or develop? If anything, if a platform doesn't change, we've seen like a MySpace, we've seen AOL, and hopefully we're going to see Facebook fail because they don't keep up with what people would rather do, as their tastes and their abilities evolve. So we want platforms to change, otherwise the platforms get old, stale, and they fall behind. So again,
it would be nice if they would concentrate on the video sharing aspect and the business side of it rather than the political side. That's all I'm saying. It was cool when it first started because it was just a video sharing platform and it was sort of neutral. And from there, it has gone to censorship of,
Well, you keep saying that. So I guess my thing is, so what?
Show it to you.
You keep trying to show it to me, and you are looking at things that you interpret as deliberate attempts to alter the conversation. So all I'm saying is, what's the point of just stating the either the obvious or stating it? So do you either want to change it and resist the change and do everything you can to create a deliberate effort to change it, in which case you're not going to force opinion change, right? You got to plea, you got to use the systems that they have, the same systems that people that did things that you don't like, the same systems to affect the system, so that you say, look, gun owners are a segment of society. We have rights. We should not have to go into the closet. You can't keep counting us as second citizens and treating us this way. So if you want to change the platform and have that conversation in front of the millions of people that are on YouTube, I say there's probably some validity to that. And there's probably a real purpose to do that. Or you could say, you know what, this platform has an agenda. I've proven it. I'm out of here. And then fucking walk away and go to a VidMe or one of these other platforms that will eventually either grow to the point where it has to have an agenda also, or it'll stay rogue and live.
I don't think you have to walk away. I think you can continue to bleed it for what it's worth, and do other things at the same time. You don't have to it's not that black and white. You can develop other resources while you're still taking I'm not going to leave YouTube until I get my last AdSense check out of them. I want them to keep writing me checks, just because every time I get one, I say, that felt so good to take your money, because it just, I don't know, feels good to take your money, even if it is $1.
Well, and diversity is the way to go. I was in one of my creator communities earlier, and I had reworked the social media header for my website, and there's like 11 icons on that, and the people in there are like, oh my god, are you on all that stuff? And I'm like, yeah, I'm on all that stuff. That's how you promote and you get your stuff out there. Whether the platform likes you or accepts you, I mean, getting your channel and your name and your stuff out there is, that's all part of growing for a small channel for sure.
Absolutely. All right, so I'm done with this. I'm depressed talking about it. Do you guys? Is it okay if we move on, or do you guys want to have some final words on this topic?
I think it's
I'm
interesting.
good with moving on.
All right, so for anyone that may have issues with this, I'm going to say this right now because some of you guys jumped in after the fact. You guys want to jump out and don't want to talk about this. That's cool. I won't think anything less of you. But we're going to talk about the defamation and destruction of some of the statues that have been going around lately. And I'm not speaking specifically of the Confederate ones because those aren't the only ones now. There's more. So we're going to go into that topic. So
I saw a thing where in Columbus, Ohio, they wanted to take down a Christopher Columbus statue.
Shh! Wait your turn, Smeggy.
Well, I thought we were talking about it. What the hell?
I was getting right into it. You just corked me.
Well, good. Fucking hurry up then.
You corked me in the
If
chat.
we're going to talk about it, let's talk about it. I mean,
we're gonna talk about it. So, all right. So, as Smeggy said, yes, they did that. We'll get into it in a second. Here's the thing.
I'm not getting into it anymore. That's as much as into it I was going to get into it.
All right. Apparently, they were listening to me when I said, what's next? They're going to go after George Washington, Thomas Jefferson statues. Well, they decided to go one step further. They've gone after, they basically defaced a Christopher Columbus statue in, of all places, Columbus, Ohio.
That's funny. I'm sorry.
I mean,
No,
it's not
Christopher Columbus. Are you defending Christopher Columbus then, or just the vandalism that you're mad about?
I'm mad about the vandalism on a statue that has been there longer than them and their parents combined.
I think you should do like a good idea, bad idea thing right quick where you give everybody like 2 or 3 minutes or something. That way they could state their quick opinion. Is that?
You know, why the hell not? So, Tony, go first.
Oh, cool.
On the spot.
I think it should be up to each community, as in, let's say, each county or whatever. I don't agree with groups like Antifa going around the country deciding which statues go and which ones stay. I think each community should decide, and because the culture, some of those statues are part of the culture of the community, and those communities should be allowed to keep those if they see fit. So these punks going around, Antifa going around tearing things down, really just need to be, squashed a little bit and let each community decide what statues are going to stay. I think that's a decent solution. But since they don't listen to reason, there's going to be a fight anyway, I suppose.
Well, I hope not, but it may come to that. Clover Tech.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I agree with that area that I don't know, it needs to go to maybe city council. I've read some stuff like Baltimore, they removed some statues overnight and stuff like that, but that was brought before the city council, and I mean, it sort of went through the process. So, I don't know that I've got a problem. I mean, that's just how it works. That's how it's supposed to work. That's the process, that we go through if there's something we don't like or we want things changed or whatever. So if it goes through that process, I don't think it should be the big spectacle and blown out of proportion like it's been being lately. It's been an issue, and people have griped about those statues and stuff for many, many years. It's just getting way more airplay now than it used to. So, that's what people need to be looking at is, hey, why now? Why all this big fuss now when they've been petitioning and griping about this stuff for years? And the reason is you've got the rise of, leftist organizations and stuff like Antifa and whatever. And, they're able to use those people that have been petitioning for years, and kind of horn in on their action to blow it out of proportion. So they're just glomming on to something that's been happening for a long time.
And there's one problem I have with them going and doing this and getting all this exposure. I really sincerely doubt that even a quarter of the people that are there that go ahead and destroy the statues if they don't get it taken down, I sincerely doubt they actually live in that area.
Well, there's evidence to suggest that they don't. I mean, there's evidence to suggest that some of the people are paid, and some of the people are bussed in. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you they are some conspiracy theory guys will tell you that they all are, and that's, even here where I live, it's fairly conservative. But I mean, we've got groups of liberal Democrats, and they'll get together and they genuinely believe one thing, and that's what I'm saying. They're the ones that are genuine and sincere about it. They believe it, one way or the other, and they want to make a change or get something changed. That's all fine, and their voices need to be heard and in the public arena. But then when you get all of these other big groups and the paid agitators and all the other people glom onto that, that's when it's a problem.
Yeah, it's not much of a conspiracy when George Soros admits he's funding, advocacy or activist groups. There's not much of a conspiracy there. I mean, it's pretty well known that a lot of these people are, at least the people who organized the protest or the riots.
All right, Ghost, what do you think?
Well, I mean, it's like I said, yeah. I mean, when I said conspiracy theorists, I was talking about the guys that say everybody there, is paid.
Yeah.
And that's not true.
That costs too much money.
Right.
Ghost, what do you think?
I'm going to start out by saying I do not agree with any statues or monuments being taken down. I think it's a travesty that you're trying to erase history. That being said, I will say this. There are two things. I do agree that if you're going to take them down for whatever reason, what Baltimore did and what the University of Texas did a couple of days ago, if you're going to take them down, do it in the middle of the night where there's no cameras around. Don't make a spectacle of it. Just take them down in the middle of the night so people walk up, hey, didn't there used to be a statue here? So there's not going to be the riots. Do it in the middle of the night. And the second thing I'll say is, if you don't like the monuments, don't tear down the ones we have. Just don't put any more new ones up in your area. It's a simple thing. Leave the ones that are there, but don't put any new ones up there. But if you're going to take them down, do it in the middle of the night so you're not causing a spectacle. That's just me.
All right. G-Webs, what's your take on this?
What are you launching missiles at me for?
I'm in that kind of mood, so, tread lightly.
Number one, at least hundreds of thousands of people were slaughtered by Columbus and his people that came over. So I don't understand. If we look at the history of Columbus, he's sort of a happenstance of like an interesting history thing, but he's hardly the one. He never even stood foot on this country. So I guess I can understand someone who'd have a problem with the celebration or idolatry of Columbus. I'm not going to justify or try to justify or whatever any kind of illegal activity. And if you have a problem with a statue, you petition to have it taken down. So that said, I don't live in a country where we have to worship idols. I don't live in a country where our history is our gods, and I don't live in a country where we're mandated to somehow worship the state. So if we want to, as a people, forget about something, I don't have a problem with that. And I don't have a problem if a small group of people want to voice their opinion that something bothers them, then I don't have a problem with that either. That's how this country got rid of racism, and that's how this country got rid of sexism, and that's how this country evolves humanity into a more civilized place. So I don't have a problem with a country that is organic in the respect that it doesn't have like some, like I say, some ideology or whatever the word is to its history. Now, I have all the respect in the world for the founding fathers, but again, I don't think we have to worship them. And just because somebody who might get upset about a fucking war that was between the same country, north and south of the same country, and you can suggest that you know the reasons for the Civil War, but I'm going to suggest there was all kinds of reasons for every single individual who went into the Civil War, and you don't know what their reasons were. And that was brother against brother, cousin against cousin, family against family, and if nothing else, countrymen against countrymen. And that was a very emotional and divisional war. And if somebody has issues with it, I think that's to be expected. And if you're going to go ahead and say, you know what somebody else can have feelings about or what somebody else can have issues about, then where the fuck do you come off and tell everybody else what they get to care about? So that's where I come down on it.
So
I don't know that anybody's worshiping these. I don't think I've even seen
you're okay with tearing them down, even though the significance of those statues aren't to idolize.
Anything I said there said it's okay to tear it down? Fuck
Yes.
you. Fuck you then. I didn't say anything about fucking it's okay to do illegal shit, you fucker. I said that in a country where you don't idolize your past, you can petition to have things taken down. If you want to fucking summarize that to it's okay to do illegal shit, that's not what I said.
No, but you did take a shot at the South by saying that apparently it's
If you want to say I took a shot at the South,
just
then
hold on.
Just, dude, that's on you. I didn't
Let
say
me
nothing
say,
about the South.
it seemed to me that you were saying that the people in the South don't know that the fact that Lincoln was wanting to have economic war on the South by applying tariffs.
No, I didn't say
we're not talking about the Civil War here, so just.
I didn't say
No,
nothing.
I'm just saying there are a lot of reasons, and they're
Okay.
not all. Not everyone in the South is a racist. So
All
we're
right.
not trying to save
I'll revise
statues for.
this. I'm going to revise this. You say it's okay to petition to have a statue that is supposed to symbolize history and remembrance of history, not idolize. It's okay to do that and petition to have it taken down.
Of course.
Okay. All right.
You want to live in a country where if 6 people get together and put up a statue, fuck it. For the rest of the time, there's a statue there. And fuck you if you think you're ever going to take it down.
No, I just like to, be able to remember history, whether it's, through either books or even some sort of a memorial.
Right. So time keeps on ticking, right? All the time. So that is stuff from the Civil War. How come we're not putting up memorials right now? Oh, snap. We are putting up memorials right
hold
now.
on. We're not just talking
Every
about the
time a
Civil
memorial goes
Whoa,
up.
whoa, back up. We're not just talking about Confederate statues. We're talking about Columbus statues. They're not just going after just one set of statues anymore. They're going after everything.
Nobody said that. I said all statues. I just said statues are being put up today. And you're saying no statue can ever come down. So every single statue that goes up is there permanently, can't come down.
That's not what I'm saying.
I don't think it's about statues. That's my point. I think it's about the political war going on. I mean, I don't think it's about.
All right.
Honestly, I don't really care about the statues. I just don't want the Antifa punks coming in my state tearing crap down that they don't own. That's all. That's honestly all I care about. I don't. They have no right to come and destroy property. It's illegal, and the rule of law should be allowed to rule.
They should be arrested for destroying property.
Exactly. I don't really care about the statue. I just don't.
I mean,
it's the point of the matter. It's the point of the whole situation.
All right, Smeggy, what's your take on this?
I don't know.
That's smart.
I just honestly, I'm going to echo what you guys have all said since it's been a while, and you guys all had stuff to say. But it's like I also don't agree with busting up people's property and whatnot, right? So that's not cool. But I also agree that a city can decide to put whatever the hell they feel like putting up in the park. And if a bunch of people say, hey, we don't like this, they say, okay, whoops, we'll put something different up. Or they could say, yeah, we don't really care, we're going to leave it up. That's up to all the local places to figure out. I really don't care one way or the other.
Honestly, the fight is free speech. I mean, honest people. I've lived in the South obviously my whole life. I was born here. You can't even say that the Civil War was not about slavery without people calling you a racist. That's that's your free speech being beaten down, you know, and even though even a lot of it's true, nobody wants to talk about the fact that Lincoln allowed the border states to keep their slaves because they were friendly or they were loyal to the Union. Nobody talks about that, but if you bring it up, you're a racist, you know, and that's the problem. That is the real problem. Free speech is under attack, and that's it.
So what about the free speech of the protesters that get to come up and say, "Hey, we don't like this statue because this dude."
That's all you get to say, Snaggy. You can come up and yell at the statue all you want to, but
you can't touch it. You can't break it.
When you start tearing it down, that's when I have a problem. It's not your property. These people are driving out, getting in buses, driving all over the country, which is illegal to go across the state lines to incite a riot. They should be arrested. Then you know what they're doing. Nobody wants to admit what they're doing. They're getting on buses, traveling around, causing trouble, causing violence. The guys in Charlottesville are just standing there.
There might be a small minority of people that their goal is to go, you know, cause violence or whatever. But I truly believe the vast majority of people out there don't.
Why do you think they wear masks and carry weapons? They
the
wear
1%
masks
of them or whatever. I mean, yeah, it's like I said, I agree with you. There are some agitators, and that's their goal. And whether they're bussed in or if they drove on their own or if they happen to live there and they're like, oh, hey, this thing's happening in my city, I'm going to go put my mask on and go out there. Sure. Okay. There are some that try and stir some shit up. That happens everywhere. Go look at the, like when the UN does their thing or the, what's that, G8 and all. It's like every time there's a big thing, there's some people out there trying to cause trouble. What I'm saying is the vast majority of people, and on both sides even too, because that was the other thing. The media tried to spring it like, oh, all these neo-Nazis showed up in thousands or whatever. It's like, nah, dude, like some people were there going, hey, we kind of like the statue. The other people were saying, hey, we don't like the statue. And then the stupid neo-Nazi, what I call them the other day, the fucktards or the fuckheads, the one fuckhead and then the other fuckheads. I mean, they both suck. So it's a small minority of both groups on either side that suck and want to try to cause violence. And everyone else is just there voicing their opinion of either pro-statue or anti-statue. Let them talk. Let them assemble. Let them do whatever the hell they want. And if they petition the government and they say, we want to take this
show
down,
me a video where Antifa has ever showed up and there hasn't been violence. And I probably got a $20 bill I'll send you. They don't. That's not their mode of operation.
All around. I don't even know who the hell they all are.
No,
but
I'm just telling you, you can't. That they don't go someplace to stand quietly.
Every protester that showed up was Antifa is incorrect. There was a vast majority of people who showed up that said, "Hey, we don't really like this statue," and then Antifa happened to show up and was also on the same side of we don't like the statue.
Just happened to be organized.
Well, I don't mean it. Jesus fucking Christ, man! I just mean it wasn't the vast majority. Like, okay, if 1,000 people show up and 10 Antifa show up, I'm not the 1,000 people didn't call Antifa and say, hey, you should come out here with us. So that's what I meant by they just happened to show. They showed up on their own ideas for whatever reason.
Also.
Yeah, they just happened to also be there. And that's kind of why I meant.
I think the people that show up that you think are not Antifa are following them on social media and they know to be there. They're called, those are kind of the local people that get called out from social media to show up.
So is it people that got bussed in, or is it people that are in the area that have the same?
Both.
Both.
All right, I want to get to the last person because I want to hear what they have to say because we're going over their time. So Travis, you have to say something about it. I know you don't want to, but
yeah, no, I get it. This isn't easy because we all have different perspective on things. Like when you talk about the statue, I got it. Tony, didn't you mention that you'd like to see it maybe left up to the community or the county to decide what to do with it?
Yes.
And if they follow the procedure that you should follow so that something can be removed in a civil manner, because people take strong offense to it for some reason, because, yeah, Columbus statue or a statue of somebody, like, say, a Civil War general, all right, or whatever. I honestly think it's up to the community because that statue could have been put up there, but the community might not have necessarily supported that symbol in their community because they might have had some sort of tie to it that might have been painful in their past. I don't know. I think it needs to be up to the community just because it's kind of the community's perspective. And what the hell was I trying to – there's some way I was trying to describe it. like those statues were put up at a time by people that had the ability to do so, but maybe the people didn't have a chance to voice their opinion about it when they went up, or they couldn't do anything about it. You know, you talk about, you know, the Civil War, saying, well, you know, it was about more than slavery. It was about a state's right to secede from the Union. It was about the economic terrorism that was taking place. And I understand that. I can understand all the perspectives on it. I don't know, man. It's not an easy one. Now, I'm fine with them wanting to take the statue down if we can rightfully look at it and say, okay, that statue has some origins. That person represents something that we can maybe agree to wasn't good for our past, so maybe it's got to go. What I don't agree with is when you start erasing the history books, because to me that's a little bit different. Explaining what a person did, say Columbus's arrival to the New World, explaining what happened, the good and the bad, that's one thing to have in a history book. But to put up a statue and say, let's celebrate Columbus Day, I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, just because if...
Well, you mentioned that, but let me just ask, is anyone calling for rewriting the history book? I mean, I don't know the last time I've opened up a history book. Maybe you as a teacher have more access to the new versions or whatever.
The books that I'm looking
last time
at.
I checked, they still taught all that kind of crap, and they mentioned, oh yeah, by the way, he was kind of a dickhole. Like, okay.
Oh yeah, no, I look at if you go through everything, you know, first of all, I just want to say it depends on the district, because certain states get to request certain editions or certain types of copies that are modified, but they still leave the core events in there. Just maybe the way that they approach it is different, or they try to put their state has a special highlighted section in the textbook or whatever. No, when I look at the modern history books, and I'm being honest, I'd be happy to show anybody a copy of them. They still have the facts in there. It was this happened and that happened.
Right. And then, so that's all I was kind of asking, is if anyone had seen, like, you know, a call out there to, like, we should be changing the history books. Because
I'm not for rewriting history, but I'm just saying, when I look at what Christopher Columbus and his men did, and whatever, you can look at it as being good or bad, basically the genocide that occurred because of it. I don't know if I necessarily want a statue. And I went to college at a time where people were protesting Columbus Day, saying it was the arrival of the destruction of the New World is what it represented. Now, that was just a perspective that people were throwing out there in the 90s, and kids were protesting in the 90s Columbus Day. But then you look at other countries whose perspective is, you know, like South America, Dia de la Raza, they see it as the uniting of indigenous cultures and European cultures. They have a different perspective on it. So, I don't know. I guess statues can be very powerful symbols, and we all interpret them differently, and people might take offense to it. Whereas to me, it's different when it's in a history book versus some monument that's out there for you to stare at the whole time. I mean, do we see statues of Custer on Native American reservations? No, that stuff's probably not going to fly. I'm just saying. So if I were African American,
that leads into the next time that I want to mention. So, yeah. You know,
if people follow an orderly fashion of the way it's supposed to be removed, then if a community agrees that it's not something they want representing their past, or their perspective is it's not right. Now, you talk about outside influences, and I get it, but if a certain community says we don't really want that statue there because we have a painful tie in our past to that statue, then take it down. History's still been written. The history's still there.
Here's a question. Do you think these same rebel rousers or Antifa or whatever they want to call themselves, they have the right to go and deface property to the point of domestic terrorism, like in the case of Houston?
No, but then again, I don't think anybody on here said they should be messing the things up. I mean, that's
right.
No, I'm saying
I think we're all in agreement.
Follow a civil and orderly manner that's established to remove it.
Here's what I have to ask: where is the line between just, you know, rabble rouser or rioter and terrorist? Because now that since they're not getting their way, one guy over in Houston tried to blow up a statue because it wasn't taken down.
And see, you take offense to it, you follow the proper channels, and you have it removed, and it's gone, and you don't threaten those people around you. I know. I'm just saying that if you want something
gone,
that's
you
bad.
Follow
the procedure.
I mean, okay.
Yeah, obviously, no, we're not
that's bad.
I'm not encouraging anarchy at all.
The point in time when you start using explosives to get what you want, you cross the threshold from being some rioter, some leftist nut job, to a terrorist, because you're trying to blow something up. And that explosion can and will hurt other people in the surrounding area when it goes off.
At what point?
You know what? Hey,
at what point do you not want us to be offended that you're going to suggest that any of us are saying that's cool? Obviously, we're all against crime.
We actually all agree on something.
I feel like, I don't know. I don't think we were very objective about Columbus, though, because I, for one, feel pretty comfy in my brand new air conditioned home in my glorious state of Tennessee, and I kind of feel like it's a little hypocritical to be taking advantage of all the things that we have in our country, and then bash the guy who helped lead the way here. So
people would have made it over here anyway, whether he did it or not. There would have been Europeans landing over
well,
here.
I just think there is a bit of
forgetting history. You're going to suggest that Columbus story that we've gotten since the 50s or something, or 70s is.
Well, when I was a kid, there was none of this. You know, the books apparently have been revised a bit because our teachers didn't. There was nothing in the history book that called him a dick, like someone referred to earlier. But
we learned about Columbus.
I suggest you go online and see some of the quick histories of Columbus that are out there. But you're right. When we were young, the history of Columbus was basically brand new. It was being promoted by the Italian Americans, and new knowledge has arisen. Are you suggesting that whenever a history book is written, no new knowledge is brought to light? And new books shouldn't reflect that? That's the whole idea of publishing a new edition, is to bring new information to light.
No, I honestly am about to chuckle because for some reason I find it funny that we've become so smart and intellectual that we must go back now and punish ourselves for something that he did.
No, you're punishing yourself, dude. Number one,
I'm like finding it humorous.
So you're going to suggest that history is so important that we can't ever lose it, but at the same time, we can't add to it. We can't learn more history. As we dig, we learn more history.
All I'm saying is that no matter what he did, we're here, and that was part of the history of that. You know? Okay,
well, the whole history of Columbus is that he never even stood foot on this continent. He only went to Haiti and the islands down there, and then he went back and he basically just killed a bunch of people, and then a bunch of other people were already here, and then all the people that already lived here already were here too. And like Travis just said, do you seriously think that if Columbus wasn't a guy who came over here, that they would have never found these continents?
Well, I personally believe the Vikings discovered North America. So you're talking.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
We all agree on that because that is what they are discovering as actual history, right? So why would we acknowledge that as new history that our books didn't talk about, because they all talked about Columbus, and now we're going to suggest that Columbus still has to be gospel, but then we're also allowed. I
didn't say it has to be gospel. I just think it's funny that we're. Now, that damn Columbus, I just think that's kind of funny to me. I don't know why you can't see the humor in it.
I would also like to mention
you're blowing off the fact that new information was found since you were told whatever you were told.
I'm not blowing it off, but blowing
it off by saying it's funny. What else am I supposed to? How else am I supposed to interpret that? You keep saying it's funny that we are acknowledging new information that's come along since a history book that was written when you were a child, and then it's funny for us to acknowledge that.
Well, I mean, it's one thing to add history. It's different when you're changing it. I mean, when you're adding research that you've discovered and your findings get added to the book, that's not exactly. I mean, that's contributing to the history.
Yeah.
That's just under the current climate of what I mean by funny is under the current climate of social engineering. It's funny because we all sit here in our air-conditioned homes, and we look back now and we're like, oh yeah, let's paint this guy this way, let's. I'm not saying that we can't learn something about what he did or what he did wrong. I don't know. I have a weird sense of humor, I guess. I think
our country wasn't, well, he didn't do great things, I'll give him that, but he did find the new world. Granted, he didn't find all of it, but he found a part of it. And he actually got it put on the map. So there is that.
Yeah, he was the one that had the balls to do it, try to at least attempt it at that point in time.
Exactly.
1409 or whatever it was.
But what we need to take from this fact, G-Web's made a point about, Italian Americans and whatnot. The point is that our country, America, is named after Amerigo Vespucci and not Columbus.
Well, I mean, Nebraska was never controlled by the Spaniards anyway, so I guess I don't really.
So that's where we get America from. We get it from Amerigo. So I just wanted to make that statement so everyone knew and, wasn't off.
USA. USA.
There we go. There we go. All right. So where does that bring us now?
All right, man. Let's hug it out. Gotta hug it out. All right.
No, we got one more thing I want to talk about. I just want to joke about this because I heard this and I just thought it was insane. Okay, because it actually ties into the whole statue thing, but on a much larger scale. Okay, we all know what Mount Rushmore is, right?
Sure. That's where the Team America headquarters is at, isn't it?
Yes, that's exactly right.
Okay, that's what I thought.
So, but with Mount Rushmore, these same Antifa and leftist nut jobs are also saying that we need to, because they own slaves, we need to take George Washington and Thomas Jefferson off there and put Obama on Mount Rushmore.
Isn't that in Stone Mountain, Georgia? Just kidding.
I have no idea where this is coming from. But that's what they're suggesting.
It was
right
joke.
now.
It was humor.
I know. But that's what they're suggesting. What do you guys think about that? Just everyone at once. I don't care.
There's not enough mountain for Obama's ears. I'm just saying.
Oh man.
Wow. My brother said this. He said, I'm okay with that, but as long as they put Trump on there first.
I mean, honestly, if you can sit there and tell me, and this is obviously not, this is a theoretical statement, so I'm not asking you to actually tell me, but if you can actually sit there and tell me what he did, we can all say that our country for generations is going to be affected by his 8 years in office. I mean, look at the other people on that mountain. We're still affected by what they did. There's nothing that any of the past presidents in the last 30, 40 years have done that future generations will truly be affected by. So, I mean, let's not add something just to add something. I mean, come on. Put a Mount Rushmore in Illinois where he's from and let them have it.
Scaled down version. I've got an idea. We can make all of Antifa members agree that they all have to go. We'll give them hammers and chisels, and as long as they all go and they all make the change themselves, and maybe it'll take them 20 years, that we let them do it. But they all have to go and just work on that. Let them beat
Are
on
you suggesting that we blow it up while they're there, or what?
Just beat on them out with their... Yeah.
No, they have to use hand tools. They can't use dynamite whatsoever.
They have to use hammers and chisels, just like, I guess they had air chisels back then, didn't they?
No, they can't use those.
Huh?
They can't use those. That's not allowed.
But here's where it gets difficult. I mean, you want to go back and take every portrait off every wall of every leader that's ever done something immoral or bad. I mean, you're going to be taking everything down, and eventually all the statues will be gone and all the pictures will be gone. I mean, I don't even know where you draw a line, to be honest with you. I mean, that makes it difficult. Hell, Grant had slaves. I mean,
are you going to take Washington? Are you going to take Washington off the $1 bill?
I know. I don't know.
Everybody's got vices, and the problem is every historical figure that has ever lived that we've ever remembered and written down in the history books, he's done something bad or something we probably didn't agree with at the time. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. It happened then. It happens now. It's going to happen in the future. So if you don't like the historical figures, then I guess don't write them down in the history books if you don't like what you see. Because they're human beings. People aren't perfect, okay? We do stupid things. We do great things. But we're still people.
I'm all for celebrating history, and I'm all for reading about Reagan and Nixon and Obama and Clinton. I'm all for that. But it seems like everyone now, and you listen to sports talk radio, the Mount Rushmore of the NFL and all that. And the Mount Rushmore is done. It's over with. We got the ones up there that they wanted up there. Celebrate history, read about it, learn from it. But we got so many issues going on in our world today that we need to fix before we start worrying about what happened 150 years ago in statues. Let's fix what we are today. That's where I'm at. I'm past it. Let's worry about where we are right now. We got some serious issues in our world right now.
We got enough issues in our country alone, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of people in bad shape, brother. I'm telling you. And I don't think people seem to be putting much energy towards it because they'd rather just tune it out and just be amused by whatever crap shows up on the TV, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, and I promise you, tearing
That
down
bothers me,
statues
man.
isn't going to fix anything. It's not going to
No.
fix it. It's just going to make it worse.
It's only going to make it worse. Though it's not helping the fact that some of these people are deciding to go completely over the line terroristic and starting to try and blow up statues. That doesn't help at all either. So
I'm just saying if there's something that's offensive, you follow the established procedures to have it removed because you have a right to. If you want to raise enough awareness about something and say, look, I don't think this should be here. We'll make a case and follow the proper procedure and have it removed. That's what laws and regulations and ordinances are about. That's why we have that stuff so we can maintain a peaceful society.
You're asking
That's right.
anarchists to live in a constitutional republic, though. When you do that, see, that's not the game plan.
I know. The people that come in and want to, and then you got the media blowing it up, getting everybody even more emotional about it by just hyping us all up about it. And first the media would tell us that a group of people came in and tore down a statue, and they were doing it because of the statues, got some destructive past, and they were offended by it. And then they'll tell you at the end of the story, oh, and they had a permit to do it. Now that they've got your attention, got you all hyped up and upset. So you got to watch out, man, when it comes to media, just in general, just news in general. They do an awful job of it.
And even taking what you just said a step further is if you do petition to have that monument removed and they come back and say no, well, you know what you can do? Don't go to the monument. It's real simple. If it offends you that much, don't go and stop and look at it. Just turn your head when you drive by it. I mean, it's one of those that people don't think that way. It's pretty simple. There are laws and there are regulations that are set forth in the U.S. Constitution for exactly this. If you're not going to follow it, then shut up. That's my take.
Yep.
There you go, man. That pretty much sums it up.
All right. So I think we have gone down the rabbit hole again. Anyways, but I want to thank my YouTube viewers for, chiming in and telling us what they think. I want to thank the Gun Channels guys for, being out there and commenting as well. I want to thank my panel for showing up. Thanks, guys, for showing up.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, man. Appreciate it, dude.
All right. So with that, I think it is officially time to call it. So on that note, this was Hit or Miss.